Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
Liberty Counsel led the fight. Now the Obama administration may be reversing course on controversial end-of-life counseling as a requirement of Obamacare. I'm Matt Barber, Director of Cultural Affairs with Liberty Counsel and Associate Dean with Liberty University School of Law. In for Matt Staver again today, and joining me in studio is Shawn Akers, Dean of Liberty's Helms School of Government and Policy Analyst with Liberty Counsel. Shawn, Liberty Counsel was at the forefront in exposing and shedding light on the fact that the Obama administration has included as a provision, a revision to Medicare regulation, according to the New York Times, that addresses end-of-life planning as part of the annual physical examinations covered under Obamacare. Recently, the administration has come out to say that they will pull that requirement because it has been widely criticized by those who see this for what it is. You've heard some people refer to it as death panels, but essentially this is an opportunity in a socialized medicine kind of scenario where doctors can encourage people to forego potentially life-saving treatment in order to save money and potentially help somebody else who, from the perspective of a bureaucracy of this type, may have more to contribute to society. So understandably, that kind of pressure that can be put on people to forego that type of treatment has come under great criticism. Now, the Obama administration, according to the New York Times, has pulled that provision. Will they keep it out, or will they try to sneak it in some other fashion? That remains to be seen.
Well, man, I think it's a great start. If they're going to start pulling provisions that are controversial in the health care bill, if we start there, then I would suggest that they just keep pulling till there's nothing left. Pull deep, pull at the roots, pull, take it out. Especially, since they found that out, I think the individual mandate should be next in line, since it's been criticized as much or more than the death penalty. In fact, Matt, what you see here is hubris run amok and damage and spin control over that hubris, because you saw a group of people come to a center-right country and force down its throat, whether they like it or not, without an opportunity to even read it, a piece of ultra-far-left legislation intent on socializing a nation. And now they're waking up to the fact that, there are political ramifications for this. We didn't do so well in the last election.
Yeah.
We're not likely to do so well in the next election. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to try to damage control. We're going to pull these things, that at least the ones that won't gut the provision entirely, so we can try to save a little face and say we're not really as liberal as we came off when we pulled off that rather dictatorial scheme of legislative myopery. What we really tried to do here was bring you things that you needed, but now we see that you don't like the idea of having doctors come in and try to push things down your throat that you don't want. You'd rather not have a death panel visit you and try to talk to you about end-of-life measures that would save the state dollars. Maybe that doesn't sit well with you, so we're going to pull that portion. So, like I said, Matt, I just hope that they will continue to just pull until we reach the depths of sanity again.
Well, it's looking like it's shaping up that it's either going to be the courts or Republicans in the House and the Senate that are going to be responsible for grabbing this gigantic Obamacare weed and pulling the entire thing up from its roots and throwing it in the furnace. We see a movement in that direction, and I believe that ultimately the courts are going to clearly rule that Obamacare is unconstitutional, this individual mandate compelling for the first time in history Americans to buy a service or product. And if they don't, they are penalized, and a group of 16,000 IRS tax lawyers will be banging on your door to sanction you for failure to comply with the mandate that you purchase a good or service, the courts, I believe, are clearly going to rule that is a gross overreach, an abuse of the Commerce Clause, and a violation of the 10th Amendment, among a number of other constitutional provisions. But this is good news. You know, the funny thing is that this death panel provision wasn't even included in the original bill because they knew that they couldn't get away with it there, so they come around on the back end and try to sneak it in through this Medicare revision. And in fact, there was a letter. One of the higher ups in the Obama administration sent a letter saying, "By the way, keep this under wraps. We don't want this getting out in the media." So they even tried to block this out and tried to cover up the fact that they were doing this surreptitiously. Liberty Counsel got wind of it, and many of the media sources that we've seen out there that are now starting to report on this are using some of the exact language from Liberty Counsel's press release when we took the lead in exposing this type of dishonest death panel revision to Medicare.
You know, the truth will set you free, Matt. The problem with it is that when somebody like Liberty Counsel comes along and actually forces people to confront facts, it has a strange effect because we're in a society that is overriddled with rhetoric right now, and rhetoric sounds great when you use it, but then there's nothing there when you sit down to eat the meal that you just talked about so eloquently. What Liberty Counsel has done is taken the actual facts and put them out in a place that you have to do one of two things. You either have to deal with them or ignore them. And in this particular case, they couldn't be ignored very easily, so they had to be dealt with. And as you pointed out, Liberty Counsel was very effective in leading the charge to expose exactly what really was going on. And there's, Matt, there's just something absolutely un-American about being led surreptitiously, as you put it. There's just something that rings false with the American people, that if you have to not tell me something for my own good, that means you're treating me like the state's child rather than the sovereign of the state. And unfortunately, the United States Constitution makes we the people the sovereign of the state, not children and wards of the state, left to the great ideas and compassions of a liberal-leaning or formerly liberal-leaning Congress to take care of us.
Well, in addition, Shawn, to being at the forefront and exposing publicly the provisions within Obamacare, the unconstitutional, and the health care rationing, and on it goes. We had dozens of pages of insight into Obamacare that Sarah Palin and others used in order to educate the American people about Obamacare, in addition to shedding light and educating people about this massive jump toward socialism in this country. We have been at the forefront in the courts in battling Obamacare, and we are filing our appeal in the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals on challenging the constitutionality of Obamacare. Our case is on the fast track here in the state of Virginia, and ultimately maybe along with the other case filed here in Virginia with Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, those two cases are both kind of in the front of the line in terms of getting a crack at getting into the United States Supreme Court. So Liberty University is our client among a list of other individuals who are challenging this from a constitutional standpoint. And this month we are going to be arguing before the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. Hopefully we'll be on the fast track to the United States Supreme Court and drive a stake through this Obamacare monster once and for all.
Matt, you and I sit here not but about 20 miles from the adult home of Patrick Henry, who famously stood up and said, "Give me liberty or give me death." And you have to wonder whether some of those that would attempt to push these socialistic measures down the throat of a nation don't have to come to grips with the fact that Virginia still is one of those places where liberty will find a way, and it has, both through, as you mentioned, Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, who has challenged this individual mandate, and Liberty Counsel. I bet there's a lot of people that just wish those folks in Virginia would quiet down.
Well, give me liberty or give me death. Those words rang true in the time of our first American Revolution, and they ring true today during, I would say, our second American Revolution. Not a violent revolution, but a revolution of ideas. Go to Liberty Counsel's website at lc.org to learn how you can join us in fighting this revolution of ideas. That's lc.org, or give us a call at 1-800-671-1776. Join the fight today.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.